What is up, everybody? In this video, we are going to be talking about Robinhood investing app. It's an app for mobile-based platforms. It does not have a web app, and it's a commission-free stock trading platform. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the pros and cons and why I think it could potentially be more danger to a lot of investors than it is helpful. I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. I'm not saying you should use it. We're just going to talk about the pros and cons. If you found this video helpful, if you found any of my other videos helpful, if I've helped you save money, make money, avoid mistakes, please consider heading on over to patreon.com/CaseyFiedler and help support out my work a little bit, and we'll kick that right back at you. Patreon supporters are able to kind of provide suggestions and provide some direction as far as content. What do you want to hear about? What do you want to learn about? Let's get into it. Very first thing that worries me about Robinhood is how accessible it is. All you have to do is pick up your smartphone, go to the App Store, and just download Robinhood app and enter a little bit of personal information, and off you go, which is great, and that's awesome. I'm glad that accessibility for trading has become better and better because that really helps people get involved with the markets. Downside, though, is that I'm worried about people who just download the app, they heard about it from their friends, they put in $500, they like pick a random stock and invest it, and they get in trouble. Maybe lose some money because we don't fully understand what's happening. So maybe a little too accessible. I think it'd be really awesome if maybe there was like a training course or something. Although, you know, the merits of like having to be certified to use the app, you know, maybe it's not a better solution. Just worried about education levels. Other thing I'm worried about, and kind of like ties right in with education levels, is Robinhood Gold, which is a brand new thing for them. It's a margin trading account. And we talked about it in another video, so check out the link below for the Robinhood margin trading, Robinhood Gold video, if you don't know what that is. But the Robinhood Gold, it allows people to really, with just with another click of the button and very little real information, it allows you to trade somebody else's money in order to make money. Borrow money from Robinhood, you trade that, and if you make a good trade, you make more money than you could have otherwise. If you make a bad trade, you end up owing them a lot of money. So that worries me a bit, and there's really no education stipulation there. Most brokerages will require some type of restrictions on their margin accounts. Robinhood, unfortunately, I think, just throws it right at people. I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more educational building blocks in order to get there. I don't want people to end up with a margin account and get themselves in trouble because they don't understand it. So if you don't know what a margin account is, if you don't know about Robinhood Gold, check out the video and you'll figure it out. Robinhood, as the third point here, Robinhood is a pretty simple app. It's powerful, but it's simple. And as far as charting and indicators, the charts are not good enough to really be able to trade off of. And there's really no indicators on the charts either. If you don't know what that means, leave me a comment. Let me know you want to learn about charts and indicators in the comments below, and we'll talk about that. Or head on over to Patreon, hop on there, I'll make a video myself, upload it. Charts and indicators on Robinhood are just not good enough for quick trading, and that's really what Robinhood is geared towards. It's geared towards people who want to buy and sell often, thus low commissions. And fourth point, Robinhood exists between these two ends of the spectrum. So over here we have traders with lots of money, and you'll see why in a minute, but let's consider people with lots of money, $25,000 or more. Those are the traders with lots of money. And then these traders over here, maybe we have $100, maybe we have $1,000. You know, somewhere in the low end of the spectrum, and then we have somewhere in the high end of the spectrum. It's not powerful enough to really provide the tools that someone who's day trading with $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, it's not powerful enough to provide those tools that we need. On the other hand, if you're trading with only a couple of dollars and having no commissions on your trade really benefits those traders, by the way. It really does. So if you're only trading with a few dollars, you can't trade enough money to make it worth it. So Robinhood doesn't really meet the needs of either end of the spectrum. I guess more so it would help the low-end investors because there's no commissions than it would the high-end investors who need a little bit more robust features and they can handle the commission trades. I don't know. I see it kind of somewhere in the gray area. Now let's take a look at why it's not a good app for high-end investors because it's not really robust enough. And maybe some people like it, maybe some don't. I don't think it's robust enough to be trading a lot of money on. Let's take a look at why it doesn't make sense to trade small amounts of money on. Right over here. So if you head on over to www.patreon.com/CaseyFiedler, there's a link over there that will take you to this document and you'll be able to check out this Robinhood calculator. So this is a calculator I've made up, posted on Google Sheets, and basically what we've got here is this chunk right here. We have a $10,000 trading account, a $5,000 trading account, $500 and $315. And I've decided that 3% of my money should be at risk at any given time. If you don't understand risk reward or why we should only be risking about 3% of our trades at a time, then please go check out the video below. Talk a little bit more about that in depth. But here's my total account value. I've entered that. I've got $10,000. I'll risk 3% of it at any given time, which is $300. I'm buying shares of GoPro, which is about $9 right now, so I just entered value close to that. Assuming that I'm buying GoPro, you could enter values for any security that you want. It tells me that I can afford 32 shares, and let's say that I sell it at the end of the day for $11.78. Let's say that it moves up that way. I'm going to sell all 32 shares. The security moved 21%. That's a huge movement. Really big. So this is probably more movement than you'd expect to see in most. But anyways, I made $80 out of my 300, and my net gain was 26%. I earned 26% in one day. You'll never find that at a bank. That's great. Now, in order to really start making money off of this, I need to be like trading 5 to 10 at a time. If I was trading 10 of these a day and they all worked out about the same, I'd make about $800 a day. That requires me to wake up in the morning and buy 10 different trades that I'm very, very certain of, and then sell them all throughout the day. What if I only have $5,000 in my account? Well, I'm risking 3% in any given trade, which is the equivalent of $150. And buy price, say it's still $9.32. We're operating under the same assumptions. Shares bought 16, shares sold 16. Security movement 21%, same as always. But now I have half the money. I have made only $40 instead of $80. Again, another negative. Now let's say I don't have 5,000 either. Let's say I've got even less than that. Maybe I've only got $500, and a lot of you trading with Robinhood probably are in this boat. I am too. I don't trade that much on Robinhood. So I've got $500, and this is much more representative of a lot of beginner Robinhood traders. You've only got $500. You're risking 3%. 3% of 500 is only $15. Of course, the security costs $9.32. You can't even technically buy 2 shares. I know it says 2 here, but Excel has rounded that. So anyways, you'll make maybe $4, maybe, by adhering to this. I recommend that you never risk more than about 3%. The absolute minimum that you could, even at a $9 security, the absolute minimum that you could trade is $315 in order to still be able to buy a share of GoPro. Another way to look at that, to look at this, is to do what I did down here, and I kind of reworded it. So how much do I have in my account? What percentage am I willing to risk in any given trade? And it'll tell you how much that is. How much did I pay per share that I bought? It'll tell me how many shares I bought. What price do I expect to sell at in the future? So I can use this as a forward-looking projection. I use the right predictors. And then security price movement, it tells me profit and gain. That's great. Well, GoPro is pretty cheap right now. It's like $9, and we're getting real low on share price there. That's almost in like penny stock trading world. What if we're looking at something like Apple, where a buy price per share might be $130.58. I'm just making let's say that I sell it at 138.24 at the end of the day. Great. So with $10,000 to trade, risking 3% in any given trade, I can trade $300. I can buy no more than 2 shares. That means the security moved 6% given this criteria. This pretty reasonable day trade. I made 17 bucks on my $10,000 for a net gain of 6%. I made $17. You would have to do this, even if you did 10 of these in a day, you'd still only be making $170. Most of you can make more than that at your jobs. So this is where it becomes tricky. When security prices get higher, it's harder to make a profit because we can't trade as many shares. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. What do you like about Robinhood? Do you use Robinhood? How much do you trade in Robinhood? I'm curious to know how much people are trading in Robinhood. Because as you can see here, even with a $10,000 account, it's hard to trade much and make a profit. So let me know what you're trading, how much are you trading if you're willing to share that information. Of course, I have not considered your risk profile. I'm not your financial advisor. This has just been a conversation about some of the risks and dangers that I see with using the Robinhood app. Number 1, I'm worried about lack of education. Number 2, I'm worried about the margin account and how easy that is to get a hold of. Number 3, the charts and indicators are too simplified to be of real use. And number 4, we have the paradox of it's not great for big investors and it's not great for small investors. Who is it good for? Don't know. It is, however, a really good way to get started, to get involved, to start learning without paying commissions. As long as you watch out for a few things, be relatively safe out there, you should be able to learn. And hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what went well, and head on over to Patreon and support me. Check out that link and you can mess around with this calculator yourself and get a sense of what Robinhood can and can't do for you. Be safe out there, everybody. Until next time.